In today's video, I am going to be looking at 4 amazing Brooklyn Nets basketball plays that we could actually run at the high school level. These are amazing. They will get very easy points for you. So let's get down and let's check them out. I'm going to give you the actual clip itself, and then we're going to also break it down on the clipboard because everyone learns differently. Okay, so in this first play, what we're going to be having is essentially a staggered screen on the point guard, and then we're going to be looking for that rolling player for the corner 3 as well for the kick out. There's so many different options. I'm going to break down every single one. Okay, so first off, we have our point guard. Now, of course, this is Kevin Durant. He's not technically a point guard. He is. However, what we are looking at is looking to get just a player who can handle the ball. I'm going to tell you right now, my point guard for my junior varsity team that I coach, he is also doubles as my center, so that's just kind of a funny part. However, when we have that screen set, this is essentially a 5-out offense. We have 5 players right there, and these players here, the point as well as the wing on this side, are setting a staggered screen for the wing player who has the ball on this side. He's going to be using that staggered screen, and when that happens, we're going to then be looking to either continue to use both of those staggered screens. Here, the Brooklyn Nets are using my personal strategy where I like the first player in the staggered to roll. Maybe it's a Canadian thing. They have a Canadian coach, Steve Nash. However, Kevin Durant's able to get that first player who set that screen the ball, and then when he gets that ball, when Kyrie Irving gets that ball, he basically drew up slightly the corner player's defender, and when that happened, he was very smart. He was able to hit up James Harden on that side to get that 3. James Harden is a killer 3-point shooter. Now, really quickly, if you do like the 5-out offense, make sure to go check out my complete guide to the 5-out offense down in the description below. However, let's really take a look at this play. We're going to be having the point player as well as the wing player set a staggered screen for player 4. He's going to use that staggered screen, and this is a great option. I really do like this play, mainly because when player 4 uses that staggered screen, we could have player 1 rolling straight towards the basket. Now, if he's a bigger player, this may be a fantastic alley-oop or a potentially fantastic pass, because now if he gets that ball in the paint, he could draw both of those defenders in which case he has 2 different options depending on what happened. Now, what we did see, if we rewind this just a bit, what we did see was they obviously were spreading the floor. They were a bit higher than, of course, most high school offenses. Many high school offenses will keep their 5-out right on the 3-point line. You don't necessarily always want to do that. You want to try to space out the defense as much as possible, and that's actually very beneficial if the other team is running something like a 2-3 zone. You really want to spread out, because then that will also spread out that zone, and the biggest mistake that a zone defense will make is by getting outside of the 3-point line. When that happens, there is a lot of lanes that open up. So if you're playing up against a zone, this could also work as well if, of course, you are spreading out and they're making mistakes. So player 4 did use that screen, and then we had player 1 slightly hedge up too high before player 4 even used 3 as a screen and got player 1 that ball. Now, when that happened, player 1 kind of took, Kyrie Irving took about 1 dribble that did draw up that defender, in which case he kicked it over to James Harden for the 3. This first or second play, has a post-entry pass into Kevin Durant, and then when that player dropped off as a double team, this obviously works extremely well if you have a post player who's getting double teamed all the time. Then he kicked that ball out, and they did a little bit of a rotation. Now, when they did that rotation, this player drove. Now, that's not always going to happen. However, what we are looking for here is it could actually be a very fantastic zone offense too, especially when we start seeing double teams like this, even though they're not going against what looks to be a zone, and the player on this side cut across the key. That pass went back to the point, and then when that happened, that player attacked and collapsed the defense once again. And now it's starting to actually look like a 2-3 zone that they're playing up against. However, I strongly believe that this defense that's being played by Chicago is actually a switch everything defense, and the reason why I say that is because that kick-out pass drew up one of the post defenders with the swing pass, and then of course we do see the switch happen with the extra pass to the corner. Now, this is a fantastic play to run. Here we have Kyrie Irving attacking the rim. However, the main part of this offense that I really want want to show you is the dribble drive with the wing player attacking, or at least cutting across the key. Okay, so in this play, we actually are going up against a 2-3 zone. Now, they are disguising it as a man-to-man at first, but as soon as we see the play start to happen, we actually see them drop off into a 2-3 zone. This is actually a fantastic strategy to run, and I actually was, before our lockdown, starting to teach my players who I coach this strategy as well, where we would jump between a 2-3 and a 3-2, and then jump between a 2-3 into my unbeatable basketball defense, which again is down in the description below. However, what we are looking at here is essentially getting that ball over towards this side, essentially to shift the defense. It was almost like if they knew they were playing up against a zone. However, that pass back to the point then allowed that player to drive down the middle of that zone. And when that happened, we had that kick out pass to Blake Griffin, which then allowed him to be potentially open for a 3. Now, Griffin's not a fantastic 3-point shooter, and he did have defenders who were closing out on him, so he was able to swing it over to Kyrie Irving. And when he was able to do that, Kyrie Irving could have gotten that shot up if he had a faster release. However, he had that player who was closing out, and Kyrie Irving was able to attack the rim and, of course, make that basket anyways. However, what we should be taking from this is not necessarily the play, but the strategy on driving to the middle of the key to collapse that defense, kick out, swing. That strategy alone will help you beat many zones. Fantastic 5-out offense that you could run as well, a staggered screen away for a dribble handoff and then swing. But there was a little bit of a, I would say, hiccup in this play. The player kind of messed up, but it's still a fantastic play. Again, this is a 5-out offense, so if you want the complete guide to the 5-out offense, the link's down below. However, basically what we are having is the wing player on this side is going to be orchestrating the play, and we're going to be having the wing player setting the pin down on the corner, and then the point player setting the staggered away for that corner player. Now, when that staggered screen is set, this could be an open shot if it was actually a very good screen or staggered screen that was set. Here, we didn't actually see the ability for him to take that 3. He was quite covered. So they did a dribble handoff, which is actually part of the play. It's a contingency on these. This is kind of part 2 of a play. You should always have multiple parts of plays. And when they set that pass back towards this wing player, he could attack the paint. However, there is something that happened here that this player was not noticing, or at least noticed too late. And that was, in many options in this play, or at least this play set that they are running, is this would be a dribble handoff for Durant in the corner. However, Durant had his player overplaying and denying that screen, so Durant then attacked the basket back door. This should have been a bounce pass to him and would have been absolutely fantastic if that was actually what happened. However, that player tried to attack. Those two offensive players got too close together, and of course, the ball handler there did mess up and lose the ball out of bounds. However, the play itself is genius because you've got so many different options. If you can teach your team, hey, these are our basic plays, but I want you to make them your own as well, where if the dribble handoff is getting blown up by that defensive player, he's overplaying, he's trying to deny that screen, you can cut back door. Make sure to do the fake first and then cut back door, and let your point guards know to hit you up for those bounce passes, but that just doesn't always happen that way. So when you're setting a staggered screen, you really want to set a very strong screen on the actual player you're screening for, and then player 3 should be, if he's going from point to corner screen staggered, he should be setting this up somewhere around the elbow and trying to figure out where player 2 red is going to be trying to go. Is he going to go over top or underneath that screen? And then you can kind of take a step left or right to know exactly where to pin him. However, player 2 is going to be popping off. If he's open for that shot, you should be trying to drain that shot. However, if he's not open, you could have a pass over to player 2, or you could do this as a dribble handoff as well, where player 2 can get that ball over towards that wing. You can do that play set, that passing set that Brooklyn used, or you can just do a simple dribble handoff. To me, a staggered screen with a DHO as a third screen option is going to be absolutely fantastic. and could really set player 2 up for an option for a 3 on this side too. However, if he's still covered, he could set himself up for a dribble handoff with player 5. Now, of course, if player 5's man is overplaying, trying to deny that screen from happening, he needs to be able to know how to cut back door. That's how you use a DHO, and that will allow him to get an insanely easy basket. However, coming off of this DHO, this can be also set up almost as a massive easy motion offense, where now, of course, player 3 and 4 then pop back out, and we would have the exact same thing happen that we just seen happen 2 seconds ago, which is, again, that staggered pin down screen, player 4 popping up, the exact same motion that just essentially happened. Now, this play was actually blown up as well by the defense, so congratulations to Indiana. This is a very good play that Brooklyn ran. However, what we do see at first is, of course, the postman. We're running a 4-out, 1-in offense. Postman pops out to the point, and then we have that entry pass to the point where now we're having a back screen on the point guard. When that back screen happens, this center really needs to be looking for that point guard who's cutting towards the rim. However, that was blown up quite well by the defender, so congratulations to him. That initial back screener is now going to use that center as a DHO, a dribble handoff, and when that happens, I understand that he's trying to run this play perfectly, but anytime a player goes underneath the screen, you should have drawn back and attacked the rim. However, that's okay. They're running this play fully through. After he ran that dribble handoff, we're having that pin down screen on this side once again. Remember, we're basically running very similar to a motion at this point, where now that corner player is using that pin down screen and is going to be then curling in because his man is caught on that screen. You want to curl in on that case, and when that happens, he's able to get that ball. He is obviously looking at the rim to be able to attack, but by keeping his head up, he's making this hedge man think that he's going to attack the basket, and then that initial pin down screen man is rolling towards the basket, and of course that pass gets blown up by the main defender. That should have actually, in my opinion, been a lob to him. However, he wasn't rolling fast enough. If he could have rolled fast enough and Durant noticed that could have been a lob alley-oop dunk, but of course it was blown up by a defender. Fantastic defense, but also a fantastic play. So basically on the clipboard, it's going to look like this. Player 5 is going to be popping out. Player 1 is going to be passing that ball to player 5. It's almost basically a blind pig play where now player or flare screen, I guess you could say. Technically, he cuts towards the basket instead of popping out for a 3. That could be an option as well, so keep that in mind. However, what we are looking to do here is have player 1 attack that rim. When player 1 is attacking that rim, we could have that pass into him for that layup or dunk. If that's not an option, he needs to clear out, and then we're going to be having that pin down screen for player 2. Player 2 is going to be using that screen. Player 5 is going to be getting him the ball. Of course, there is the option for a 3 or a mid-range shot, but if he uses that screen, he could attack for a layup, or if there's a switch, there could be a pass in for player 4 himself to get that basket. So make sure to go check out my complete guide to the 5-out offense down in the description below, and if you want the Unbeatable Basketball Defense book, it's down there as well. They're fantastic options for high school teams too, and obviously for pretty much any age group. I hope that these plays help your team win more games. If it does, or if they do, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.